This is a story about ordinary people brought together by an extraordinary tradition. Singing in Latvia carries an emotional imperative. It's part of everyday life. The choral tradition goes back centuries and was vital in developing a national identity. During tough times, songs about the sun or the wind carried a message of freedom and hope. Nowhere else can these layers of history and emotion be heard as powerfully as here at the Latvian nationwide song and dance celebration. A collection of thousands of folk songs, the dainas, passed down through generations, are the foundation of this phenomenon, this movement, this celebration, which brings together people from all walks of life. UNESCO has recognized the nationwide song and dance celebration as a masterpiece of the heritage of humanity. With roots in the past and eyes to the future, our voices reaffirm a love for our nation, our freedom, and our traditions. And so we come together to sing and to dance, time and time again.
Great evening, everyone. I'm so happy to see you joining us. So this is our sessions about stories and sounds of our childhood. And tonight we're gonna have a little peek into Latvian culture. And we started this show with a little video from Latvia's festival that we have. And that's thank you to Latvian Institute for creating this beautiful video where we can share who we are, what we love, and what we do. That's about a little bit about Latvia, and we're going to be going into this beautiful culture today. But this series generally going to be about different cultures, and we live here in Birmingham at the moment, so we would invite everyone who has a beautiful culture that you would like to share, join us. Let's design a session for your culture and share what we have, because sometimes we live next to someone and we don't know much about them. So these are the series where we invite to have a little peek, to come with us for a journey, to look into cultures, to explore cultures and some part of them, because at least knowing our culture, it's so rich, and sometimes it's difficult to pick little story or little part of the culture to share with someone, and we will try to do our best to narrow it down. So we will be sharing today a couple songs with you and a lovely childhood story and more stories, memories, and and experiences. So I would like to invite our first guest for tonight, and it's Natalie. Natalie, can you join me?
Labvaka.
Ciao. So we say ciao as well in Latvian, or we say sveiki.
Ciao,
Right?
Rita.
Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me along tonight. It's a real honour to be part of the first in this series that you're launching with Oval. So thank you very much. Yeah, I'll give you a brief introduction to myself. So I'm a musician, an educator, and a PhD researcher from the University of Birmingham. And I'm very happy to be here with Sakta and Oval. Thank you very much again to Lita for inviting me to be here. So I'm really interested in the music making of children and families that's happening in the West Midlands, particularly music making that connects with different parts of the world. And this is the topic for my PhD that I'm currently doing at the university. So this might be songs in different languages, cultural dancing, or musical instruments that have travelled around the globe. And my research project is also about intercultural music making, so where music from different groups and places are shared in the same space. I've worked as a musician here in Birmingham and in Cape Town in South Africa with many different communities, and I'm really passionate about music making of children and families. I've also worked in nurseries and schools, and since 2015 I've run my own project in Birmingham called Multicultural Music Making with Friction Arts. And this focuses on international music and the ideas and knowledge of children and families. So I'm hoping that my PhD research will create new networks to support this work, raise the profile of community music making, and expand possibilities for music education in our primary schools locally as well. So I'd really like to get more involved with Oval as part of the research and learn about the music that happens. And like today, I might join in with the music, and other times I might just watch and listen. So I'm hoping to work with Oval more, as well as Sakta and Bernuriti Saktinya. So maybe I'll get to make music and speak with the adults and children about your thoughts and ideas about music and get to know more of you soon. So thanks very much for welcoming me today, and hope you enjoy the evening.
It's our honor to have you, and it's just so great that you're with us and all the support you've been giving to prepare for these sessions. So Natalie, so a bit about yourself. So you've been born here in UK, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm from Birmingham. I went to school in Bearwood and grew up sort of in Sandwell, Birmingham area. And then I've lived elsewhere, and I moved back to Birmingham, and that's where I'm now based for my research and my work.
Beautiful. So Latvian culture, so where did that stand? How did you, why you are here tonight? Let's say
yeah,
that.
Of course. Well, we've made a couple of videos to share with you this evening. So that tells you a little bit about my research, about my interest, but also about my heritage. So I have a conversation with my mum that you will see. So my mum is British-born Latvian. So I have British and Latvian heritage. And really, I guess the process of being curious and getting to know children's music and what's going on here in Birmingham has led me to want to know more about my own heritage. So there's that element to it, but there's also working with you, Lita, and hoping to get to work with you some more over the next year. I've started to learn Latvian and try and sort of improve my knowledge and my skills in Latvian language, but also in instruments and songs. So you'll see a bit more about that as we play our video in a minute.
Is it easy to learn Latvian?
Well, no, it's quite tricky, actually. And funnily enough, showed me some of the gaps in my knowledge about how English works, because learning a new language and the sort of many endings you have to learn, and the compactness. It's so wonderfully compact, Latvian, but it means you really have to get your endings right to get your meaning across. Yeah.
Yes, sometimes you can just mix up completely things than otherwise. But I wanted to ask, so obviously children's songs and your research and your experience in education, not only, why it's so important? Why do we have to sing songs to children?
And why do children sing songs as well?
There you go.
Well, I'd say that music is key to who we are as people, as human beings. And music carries so much information about who we are. So about our identity, about the cultures that we connect to, about our stories. So I'd say children, and we sing songs to children, and they sing songs for many different reasons. And we spoke also about, in the video, we talk a little bit about this as well, that it's a really useful carrier of language, but also a carrier of sort of a vast amount of information about who we are. So I think we sing songs because we're human and we're alive, but you can answer that question in lots of different ways. What do you think, Lita?
I think it's like for Latvians, music means a lot. Like I'm not excluding any other cultures, but just tonight we're talking more about Latvian because I'm Latvian myself as well. So and I'm running Latvian community here in Birmingham called Sakta. So and we kind of keeping the language and the culture alive here, and that's the importance that the children and our children and their children, they have the place to speak the language and hear the language. And I think we maybe going to touch this in a minute as well. So, and songs, their rhythm, they calm down children because first of all, it's our voices that they recognize, but as well, they tell stories. And that's why we picked, it was so difficult to pick one lullaby to choose from because we have so many. And we did. And actually, I think maybe it's a good time to share the first video and meet your mom as well with this. And we will share the lullaby we choose. And then we're going to run through and maybe explain a bit more what's in it.
Labby.
Labby. Santo, if you could please. Yes, thank you.
Sveika. Es esmu Natalia.
Es esmu Ilze, Natalie's mama.
My name's Natalie, and this is my mum,
Ilze. Today we're going to sing a Latvian lullaby to you called Aija Žūžu Lāča Bērni, or Hushabye Bear Cubs.
and we're going to sing it today with the Latvian Korkli, with some of our friends from Sakta and Bērnu Rīti Saktiņa. Aija Žūžu Lāča bērni, aija Žūžu, pēkaņami, kājaņami, Žūžu, Žū. Pēkaņami, kājaņami, Žūžu, Žū.
Tas mazami Birminghami
Beautiful. I want to take the time and say thank you everyone who participated in this video. And the drawings, those actually, they were from my mum, and I really hope that they helped you to understand the meaning of the lullaby. So you can see it was about teddy bear family, where the daddy goes to pick up honey and mummy picks up berries, and then they bring them back to the babies who slept really nice all the way through. So quick story about the lullaby. And actually I was rocking while I was playing.
I noticed that. I think we both started to rock. It started to work on us, Lita. But
It's just, I think it's just, you know, when the little ones comes in a family, or when you get a little one in your hands, it's just automatically you'll kind of rock them to the sleep, and it's just part of it.
And these songs often have function. They also have a role to play, don't they? There's an activity or a game or a sort of useful, I guess, sort of behaviour or culture that goes with the song, like sending children to sleep. So,
Yes,
yeah, your mum's pictures are beautiful. Skaistas bildes, is this correct?
Very nice, very, very good. So yes, and there was an instrument that we wanted to include in this session. So that's an like I would say it's an old instrument that it's kind of reborn, and because more and more people try to learn the instrument again and play and use in everyday life, and I'm one of them, and I think Natalie, you're one of them too.
Yes, only recently, thanks to you again, a scheme to have the opportunity to learn this instrument. So yes, our corcles.
Yes. And it's just a beautiful thing. Like when I'm getting my cork and I want to play, my little one crawls over and he wants to play. And then how the instrument vibrates itself, and the children just love them. I fell in love when I first time got the instrument in my hands and I played, and the vibration and everything kind of really spoke with me. So
yes, I heard corcle in Latvia, an ensemble playing, and have always hoped to have the opportunity to learn. So that's been a nice hobby in lockdown.
Yes, beautiful. And this what we have with Natalie, these are folk corkless. There's obviously different type of corkless with way more strings that they are for orchestra or different occasions. But this is the folk ones. Obviously, mine, you can see it has metallic accents. Like it's just easier to tune them in this way. Natalie, yours are with wooden picks now as well. There's
Mine
like
metal, yes,
metal,
but you have
yes.
you have an extra part to your corcle, wing, don't you?
Yes, it's because it comes from different part of Latvia. In different parts of Latvia, the instrument varies a little bit, so it's just like kind of support. So yes, that's the instrument here that we brought to this session. And then, shall we continue with your mom's story, please? And then we can go into things more, because what you touched already about the singing and importance that it carries with it. I think your mom touching as well somewhere, she mentions the festival that we already showed the video at the very beginning. And then with Latvian history, we're not going to go into history much, but the singing carries a big value through our history. So let's see your mom again and hear her story about learning Latvian and being around Latvian culture, please.
Fantastic, yeah. Thanks, Mum, for singing that with me today. Aia Juju Lacha Berni is a new song for me. I only really learned it talking to Lita about preparing this session for Oval today. But when I mentioned it to you, you said it's a song that you've known for quite a long time.
Yes, that's right. I think I've known it all my life. When the Latvians were invited over to work in Britain, as displaced persons after the Second World War, they formed together in communities as any sort of immigrant group or refugee group in the UK. And my parents met in Mansfield. My dad was a coal miner. My mum worked in a hospital. I mean, these were occupations that they wanted people, as many of the young men from Britain had got perished in the war.
Yeah.
So there was shortage, there were scarce occupations. So the Latvians were living in a big house in Mansfield where my parents were living, and I'm sure this song was sung to any babies who were born, although I would be too young to remember. Well, Latvia no longer existed after the Second World War because it was spoils of war. It had become part of the Soviet Union. So the Latvians in the UK were very concerned that it would become very Russified and the Latvian culture would disappear. And a lot of the Latvian culture was based around singing and dancing. You know, the Latvian culture, folk songs, was very important. So as children were born, you know, the families decided to create supplementary schools where the young children could learn about Latvian culture, as well as learning about it at home. Like a supplementary school nowadays you get for people from other countries. It was run by the parents. I mean, a couple were trained teachers, although they were now coal miners or working in other occupations. And for us, they hired a church hall in Mansfield, and we used to meet every fortnight. I was definitely going there when I was about 10, though it might have been from about the age of 8 or so. And my brother joined in. He was 5 years younger than me. There's me. That's right. And there's my brother there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's my best friend, who's still my friend now. You know, we've been friends since we were 3. And here's a larger group. I think these must have been with the Nottingham Latvians at some sort of like summer fair, or in a cultural fair we'd get together. And there's another picture of more of us. You see how many children there were.
Yeah, absolutely. With the parents then as well.
Yes, parents, teachers, a mixture of different people there.
And what year would this have been, these photos?
From 1960, 1961, 62. In fact, in my diary, which is from 1960, I've written a bit about the Latvian school.
Oh, wow.
So I was 10 then.
Very neat handwriting.
So I've put here, this is in English actually, although obviously we were learning Latvian. My parents spoke Latvian at home, and we spoke Latvian at home too as children, but because of going to English school in England, we all spoke a lot of English, you know, me and my brother did.
And you were saying
This
that
is in
actually
English.
the song may have been to help learn some of the sounds
Oh
in
yes,
Latvian?
yes, that's true. I've been trying to find it, it's called an Arbete, which is an ABC,
Yes.
or an alphabet book, which they had little poems and little songs to help you learn the sounds. So I'm pretty sure this would have been a j sound, a j, Z, with a little diacritic mark, which is like a little V on top of the Z to make it change from a Z to a j sound.
And there's
So you
lots
have
of
zhu, that's
yeah.
right, zhu. So I've got here that today we went to Latvian school. We had 1.5 hours of singing, then tea time, then dancing and games. And then another time, I've put that we had to learn, I had to write about the country mouse and the town mouse, but I had to write about it by heart. So, so obviously there was some writing and grammar, as well as the dancing and singing. Today we went to the Latvian school in Dad's car. We had 1.5 hours of singing, then tea time, then dancing and games. I had my ponytail, very important of course. Then we went on a journey home through some of the local villages. But very excitedly, all this time there had lain in the back of our car a big black case, inside of which was an accordion. Daddy is going to teach us how to play it. Now that accordion we still have in the family. My dad really liked music, and he learnt to play mandolin and the accordion in Latvia.
And this song is one that you've remembered since then, that you remember?
Yes, I love it, yes. Yes, we would have learnt it as a little group in singing in a choir.
we've sung in choirs together as
We
well.
we have.
In fact, I have a photo here.
Oh,
This is
yes.
us. So this is when we're in the Straumen or Jagdijs chorus.
Yes.
That's correct. And we sat on the bus here in Riga on the way to our rehearsal.
That's right. With the Entusiasmsverki, which is where I think there are about 10,000 singers altogether from Latvia and lots of other nations, Latvians in other parts of the world, come together to sing in a massive song festival and dance festival, which happens every 5 years in Riga, in Latvia. It was a marvellous experience. That was in 2013. And, you know, I'm still in a choir, obviously by Zoom, but this time it's led by the London choir conductors who've invited members of other choirs, Latvian choirs, to sing songs in preparation for the Song Festival in 2023, all
So the
being
next
well.
one, fingers crossed.
So we don't know when we'll be able to meet again in person because of the regulations, and so we're all hoping to sing again.
Well, it's great to be able to do things like this online.
Yes.
And lovely to sing with you again today. Thank you,
That's
Mum.
right. That's right. Thank
Liels
you.
Paldies.
Oh, Lūdzu, you're very welcome. Oh, well, goodbye, everybody. Visu labu.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. That was really nice. Thanks for sharing, and thanks to your mom.
Many
Actually, I
thanks
had the
to
chance. I had the chance to meet your mom, and I remember her telling me that she traveled about 2 hours to the Latvian school, so it wasn't nearby, like, you know, a couple streets down. That was quite a journey to get there. And I think there are some things that they haven't changed that much, except obviously internet and all these opportunities that we have in our days. But like our community meets the same way. We rent a hall in a church or a community center, and we come together or in a park and do activities to keep the language alive. And it's just so beautiful to see you and your mom together singing in the choir and singing this lullaby, because that's how the lullabies and the history and the heritage is passed on from generation to generation. And I'm just so grateful.
And we were saying it was interesting, wasn't it, that the version of the lullaby that you remember and you know, and the version that my mum knows, has got slightly different feel, slightly different rhythm.
Yes, that's true. And then we
haven't kept that, didn't we? Sorry, go on.
No, sorry, yes. So we never really managed to get anyone from Latgale. That's a region of Latvia when the accent is very different that they speak, and it's like part of different language even. So it's the same like in UK. You go to different city and you hear different accent, and then the song sounds slightly different as well with that. And it's just beautiful to see. And like, one more time, thank you everyone who helped us to record the video and get that together.
Very much so.
Yes, thank you, Natalie, for your time. We will see you later on. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to write in the chat box, and hopefully our technology will allow us to see your question and answer it later. So thank you, Natalie, and we will see you in a bit.
Lūdzu.
Thank you. And I would like to invite our second guest for tonight. And it's actually not only one guest, it's a family that we work together and do lovely community work. And please, can we have Ilan family with us? You're muted, I think. Can you unmute yourselves?
Labvakar! Labvakar!
So good to see you.
Mazie klausītāji.
Yes. So you sing this song in your family as well? And we saw you.
As usual. Yes, we do sing that song. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do sing this song.
Do you remember, Madara, when you were little, do you remember this song? Because I remember my mom singing us a lot, and we sang obviously with my mom as well.
Yes, this song comes from, I guess it comes from generation to generation. It's an old, very beautiful song. Like you said, it's straight away you just want to hug your child and just like, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Lovely. Madara, would you mind introducing yourself, please? The people that haven't met you yet.
Right. I'm a Madara. I'm a mom of this Ilanu family. I'm a part of Latvian community as well. Kurt saying that I'm 41 years old.
What do you have in your hand? Can we meet that little?
Yeah, and yes, I want to say, and this is pasaku tārpiņš bubu, which is also a massive part of our family. And pasaku tārpiņš bubu is helping us when we're reading stories. When I read stories for my children, pasaku tārpiņš is always with us. Also, pasaku tārpiņš is always with us when we got children morning saktiņa, where Lita is a teacher there, and I'm there, and also he's there helping us for children to read the books and just not forget Latvian language. That's the main thing what he does, read Latvian tales and stories.
Yes.
And help, yes.
Of course, good. So actually, that's really interesting. When I was listening Natalie's mom Ilse to talk and about how they were going to the supplementary schools, and it's actually really similar like we work in a sense as well, that the teachers are people from any backgrounds. It could be coal miners at those times, and now maybe any other profession, that they just come and spend their free valuable time with us, passing the culture on. And I think that you have another song that you could share with us. Adelina, will you help?
Adelina, can we sing a song?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Just
a second.
Because there's so many songs that they have the meaning of them and the stories. It's more about their values, and that's how we pass them on from generation to generation as well.
Yes, and this song also been I've been singing when I was small.
And
My
my
mom
sister.
and your sister and my mom teach me, and obviously her mom teach to my mom. So this song is quite long as well, and very nice, and it's a big meaning actually. I'll explain afterwards when we finish singing. Shall we start?
Yes.
I did.
Maza, maza, meitenīte,
Takpacēlu dziedādā. Maza, maza, meitenīte, takpacēlu dziedādā. Tradirāla, tradirāla, takpacēlu dziedādā. Tradirāla, tradirāla, takpacēlu dziedādā. Plecos baltā vilainīte, galvā rožu vainagdzīn. Plecos baltā vilainīte, galvā rožu vainagdzīn. Tradirāla, tradirāla, galvā rožu vainagdīn. Tradirāla, tradirāla, galvā rožu vainagdīn. Es negāju noskumusi nevienā vietiņā. Es negāju noskumusi nevienā vietiņā. Tradirāla, tradirāla, nevienā vietiņā. Tradirāla, tradirāla, nevienā vietiņā. Ar dziesmiņu drubādāju, ar valodu spēciņā. ar dziesmīņu drūbādāju, ar valodu setiņā. Tradirāla, tradirāla, ar valodu setiņā. Tradirāla, tradirāla, ar valodu setiņā. There was all expressions from Kurt.
Well done, Mala.
This is how it is. Usually they remember the first 4 lines and then they're forgetting. But the main thing is always tradiralla, tradiralla. Thank you.
Beautiful, well done. I remember this song as well, and I love my favorite verses when it says that I never went anywhere else when I was with a sad face, and whenever I went in a new house, let's say, I always smiled. So I always went with a smile. I just kind of remember like a child, and it's like a value. Whenever you go to someone, I bring my smile with me. Let's say that way.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you just go, put your all sadness under the stone, and just keep walking and smiling. That's like kind of Latvian say. And actually, I took it as a wish for people. Quite usually, I say this like, put your all sadness under the stone, or just leave it at home and go outside and pick up.
Yes, it's like the culture. It's a rich thing, and if we translate these things, and I was listening actually the lyrics while you sang, and I thought it's quite a work as well to explain children what those words mean, because sometimes some of them are in like language that I wouldn't say old language, but like language that we don't use anymore because language is progressing. So and those like things, they need to catch up with the time. Let's say, explanation to do. And then let me ask you a question. So obviously you already told about stories and that you do storytelling. So why do you find it important to tell stories to your children?
I first of all, I think it's important to read the books, lots of books, all them stories, because there is so many knowledge. Look, Katish gave me the answer. Knowledge inside. There is so many. Because you can dream big. I always said dream big. Read
and then you dream about what is in the story.
Yeah, you can dream about this what's in the story. It's just magical to read the books. You can travel far away reading when you read a book. And Latvian tales, they are so beautiful. We got lots of beautiful tales. And every tale comes with some kind of knowledge at the end. It gives you some knowledge at the end.
Well, I love
about it's nice to ask kids what they think. That's what I do. I ask at the end kids what did they took from this tale or story. We read.
I think as well, different ages most probably they take different things. Like we sometimes, if we read a story now, we most probably see something completely different than when we were little.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Probably some of the stories you think that some of the stories is quite scary as well sometimes, if you think that way, yeah. But actually, under this story was something different. It's just when you're young, you didn't took it in that way.
There's different meaning, deeper meaning.
Yeah. Yes, we read stories a lot, and we proud to say that we also read stories not just at home. We also read stories. We got our own page on Facebook. If you're interested, you always can follow us. And these stories we always share with the groups. And also we got a little program on Radio Tauta, which is Latvian radio, where we read also stories. We very we proud what we do. And that's all family together.
I think we have the link to share. So if someone would like to hear more stories, feel free to visit the website. I think Santos will put that up as well, so you all can see. There you go. And tonight, I kindly asked Ela and a family to pick a story. I know it was difficult thing to do, but you have picked a story to tell to us tonight. And like what I wanted as well mention about the stories, that Latvian stories, they're practical, I would say. Lots of them are really practical from life. So I think this one's going to be one of those. So before we start, I would love you to introduce the characters from the story, please. And all people that watch us, we would encourage you to try to pronounce the characters with us. Kurt, Adelina, could you help us introduce the characters, what we're going to be seeing tonight? What do we have first?
Vecstētiņš.
Māmiņa.
Kurtiņ, let's go slowly. So let's try to pronounce.
Kaķītis.
Kaķītis.
Sunītis.
Sunītis. Pelīte.
Un māsa.
Māsa, meitenīte.
So let's try one more time all together. Let's start from vecstētiņš. So if you're watching, feel free to try to pronounce. So this is going to be vecstētiņš, what means grandfather.
Vecmāmiņa.
Vecmāmiņa.
Vecmāmiņa. That means grandmother. What else we have?
Little daughter, like a mazmeitiņa, kā tas būs?
Meitenīte.
Meitenīte, jā, mazmeitiņa.
Yes, meitenīte.
Meitenīte. Kat.
Kaķis. Kaķis.
Suns.
Dog, suns.
Pelīte.
And little mouse.
Un rācenis.
And that's a potato. It would be rācenis or kartupelis or tupenis. Depends from which part of Latvia you're coming. So I will give the show to you guys. Let's hear the story rācenis.
Yes, we're going to read story rācenis. And we're going to play through the story, okay? I'm just going to put down a little bit.
So you see what we're doing.
Yes. Gatavi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nu, es lasu. Reiz dzīvoja vectētiņš. Un vecmāmiņa. Un viņiem bija maza mazmeitiņa. Viņiem bija suns Funs. Runcis Puncis. Un pelīte Piktīte.
Pik, 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 pik.
Dzīvoja viņi lielā, skaistā namā. Vectētiņš iestādīja rāceni. Rācenis auga, izauga liels. Vectētiņš gribēja to izvilkt. Vilka. Nevar izvilkt. Pasausta vectētiņš vecmāmiņu.
Māmiņa.
Atnāca vecmāmiņa. Piesteidzās un sāka vilkt abi. Vilka. Nu nevar izvilkt. Vecmāmiņa sauca mazmeitiņu.
Mazmeitiņa.
Atskrēja mazmeitiņa un nu vilka trietā. Vilka, 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 nevarēja vien izvilkt. Uzsvilpa mazmeitiņa sunim punim.
Suni, funi, suni, funi. Suni, funi.
Atskrēja sunīts un vilka rāceni četratā. Vectētiņš vilka, mazmeitiņa vilka, vecmāmiņa vilka, vectētiņš vilka, bet nevar izvilkt. Suns pasauca, runci, punci.
Punci, 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 punci.
Atskrēja runcis un nu jau vilka visi 5. Vectētiņš rāceni, vecmāmiņa vectētiņu, mazmeitiņa vecmāmiņu, suns mazmeitiņu, runcis suni, vilka, vilka, rācenis kā zemē iemeties, tā iemeties un nevar izvilkt. Pasauca runcis pelīti pīkstīti. Atskrēja pelīte pīkstīte un visi kopā ņēmās vilkt rāceni. Vectētiņš rāceni, vecmāmiņa vectētiņu, mazmeitiņa vecmāmiņu, suns mazmeitiņu, runcis suni, pelīte runci, vilka, 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 pūks! Un rāceni izvilka. Tās arī pasakai beigas. Tāda bija tā pastapiņa. Nokrita mums telefons, rācenis izgāzās.
Thank you very much. I understood, but I'm really keen to hear, and if you please can comment, what did you understand from this story? We kind of tried to introduce the characters of the story. So if you could comment what happened in the story in a couple of words, that would be really nice. And when Madara said that she would love to read this story, it reminded me that this story is known as well in schools. We're doing it as a little theater, let's say. And before the session, actually, I got my album from my childhood, and I will share one picture out of it. I hope the other guys that are in it don't mind. I didn't manage to contact them, so I can cover their faces. So when I was little, we had this story about rācenis. That's the big rācenis there. So, and that's myself when I was little. And we had as a theater in my first year of school. It was, I'm not going to say the year. So, but to know that like this story is there, lots of as well into the learning, and we were thinking that we could do this as well in our community, because then we can learn all the people that participate, part of the family, and animals that they are becoming a part of family in a sense in this story. So yes, if there's any comments, feel free to put them on so we can see what people think. And Madara, maybe you want to run through what do you understand from this story and what's the backstory of it?
It's all about family. That's what I understand. It's all about family. So we help each other, and that there is a power in a family.
They get stronger.
All the family, all together. That's stronger. That's when we're strong, and that's the main thing. It's a family. So all this event today is about families, about culture, about like Ilse mom. Sorry, I forgot the name.
Natalie's mom. Yeah, Natalie's mom.
Natalie, that's also everything about family. She actually gives part of her Latvian traditions and culture to her daughter. That's something beautiful. It's an amazing story, actually.
It is. So in this story, as at the fairy tale itself, it tells about the grandfather who plants the potato, and then the potato grows. It grows so big. And one day grandfather goes and he wants to pick it up and take out of the land, but he cannot do on his own. And then he calls the grandmother to help, and they cannot do by themselves. And then they call the granddaughter or daughter to help. And then there's the little dog, and then the cat, and then the mice. So basically, they come all together, and when they're all together, they become stronger, and they can manage to pull the potato out. That's the simple version of this story.
It's actually a very beautiful story, very interesting. There is lots of stories that you can choose, but this is, for our family, it's very, one of the funniest, one of the, what we really like to read. Lots of times, I remember when I was a small child, my dad used to play through always. He used to put us down, we sat there, and then we played this game. Like, Dad, Mom, we all sat in a line, and then at the end, when you fall, that's the main thing, when we all laugh. It's like, when we like, yeah.
And then fall down, right? For kids, that's just
yeah. It's made everyone happy.
So if someone wants to hear more stories, Latvian stories, or maybe they have a family member from Latvia, or maybe some friends, or maybe they just became interested. So where do we find them?
So you always can follow this Pasaku Tārpiņš Bubu. Where is Pasaku Tārpiņš Bubu? No, don't know. I think Adelina took it. So we got this page on Facebook, Pasaku Tārpiņš Bubu, where we also read stories. We always put also on Saktas page all the stories.
Community
and
pages.
Also in a Radio Tauta every Wednesdays, 7:10, and every Sundays 7:10. You can hear Latvian stories.
Beautiful. Thank you, Madre, for that. And we're closing up the hour soon. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing this story and picking this story. And I know how difficult it is, but there are lots of practical stories from my childhood. I remember a story about, I'm not going to tell all the story now, but then once there was a lady that asks me, what's your favorite story? What's the first story that you can recall from your childhood? And it took me a while to think. And then she asked me, which is the character from them that you relate to? And I told which of the characters it is. And then they said that actually we kind of try to become that person, because that's why we remember, that's why it's so deep in our memory that actually we relate with that character, and we are maybe very similar like the character is. So that's why I love fairy tales, and I love stories, and I come up with my own stories when I tell them. But I want to really finish up on a really fun note. There is a little a dance we can call, and Natalie can join us as well if you can hear us, Natalie. So, and I hope that Ela and her family will gonna help us. And if you're watching from home, feel free to sing, play with us, let's say. So it's a I don't know, Natalie, help me. What's the best way to describe in English? Well, that would be plauksting polka. Natalie, you're muted. You can unmute yourself, please.
Sorry. Polka, we know this word is a type of dance, and we talked about this earlier, didn't we? That it's like a clapping game, or a clapping dance, rhythmic dance. So I think it's I think we can try it and then decide what it's called as well. Show us.
Yes, so I actually, for myself, I remember this doing with my brothers and with my mom and my little one, and actually I even do for my little one, and I use it as kind of distraction, let's say, in a sense, because there's a clapping movement. So he loves that. First of all, that's a noise and that's a movement that he loves to mimic. And then there is a rhythm and there is a coordination involved as well. In our supplementary school on Sundays, we do this with kids as well. So Madara, Kurt, Adelina, would be lovely if you can help. And if you're back home, you can do with us. So we're going to try to sing it through as well. So it goes like this. Da 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 da. Let's try one more time. So basically the movement goes, you clap twice, then you do cross arms. So there you go, they play lovely. You can do as well elbows and you can move around, and yeah, kids love this one, and even my little one loves it. So I want to take this time to say thank you to ladies and Kurt and Adelina for joining us tonight, and Natalie, to your mom as well. Greetings from us. Thank you everyone who is watching, and we hope to see you on our next series. It's going to be different culture. This is a little peek exploring Latvian culture, since we all coming or have a heritage in Latvia, but we all live here in UK at the moment. So we love our culture, and if you have a beautiful culture that you would like to share, please get in touch with myself or with our community page, and we will be happy to see in the future and do maybe a night with your culture. We have a couple more sessions scheduled already, so I'm hoping to see you and follow us on this. And my email, if you want to reach out, that's going to be visible just in a minute somewhere there. It's going to come. So thank you very much to Oval for providing the platform and technical support. I'm Lita from Latvian Community Sakta. Feel free to follow us. Come to our events when we're going to be able to meet in live again. But meanwhile, have a lovely night, everyone. Ar labu vakaru. Bye.